Hey guys, thanks for watching. My name is Amanda Hughes, and for this look I did a coppery orange kind of bronze look. Throughout my video I labeled some of my brushes, and also this is the final look, so let's see how this comes out. So to start off with, I got the new Morphe limited edition palette. I purchased a bunch of new brushes as well. To start off, I'm going to start with my eyebrows. So I do have the NYX pencil, and I'm going to just go ahead and outline my eyebrows for now. And I only do the bottom with the pencil, just right under my eyebrow. And then I go ahead and get my Dipbrow by Anastasia. I am using a Morphe brush with a spool on the end. This came from, I don't have a number for it or a brand, an exact number, because it came with an eyebrow set that Morphe just came out with. So I actually use it to line the top of my brow and fill in any sparse areas. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat that to the same eyebrow on the other side. And sorry for my lighting. I purchased a light recently, so hopefully that comes in this week so I can get that situated. And then I'm going to go ahead and go in with my matte creamy concealer. I've had this one for years and it honestly lasts a long time, but it's too creamy, so I only use it to carve my eyebrows. So I'll go ahead and line it up on the bottom and get that arch in there and bring it down all the way to the bottom, just so that when the foundation kicks in it can blend it out. And then I did purchase the MAC Soft Ochre base for my eyeshadow. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that all over my lid using the Morphe S11 brush. It's a pretty thick, fluffy brush, just to apply and make sure that I get full coverage around my eye. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and blend it in right in with the concealer. And I do pull it all the way throughout my eyebrows just so that it blends in really well. And then I go ahead and grab this Sephora setting like primer. It's a matte to mattify the lid. I put it as my translucent powder right over my entire lid. And then I go ahead and just blend that out once again. And then this is what the palette looks like. I'm going to go ahead and start off with, I believe, well, they don't have color names, so I'm just doing a bronze, getting a brown, but I am using a Morphe M502 brush, so it's just a fluffy brush to blend. So I pick up that as my transition color and apply it all over the outer lid. And I go ahead and do the same thing for the other eye as well, and I just blend it in. And then I go ahead and get another brush, and it's my Morphe E22 brush. This brush, along with one of the other brushes I'm using in this video, are my top favorites. They're really good blending brushes. So this one has more of a pointy, firm-like bristles on it. So it gets right in the crease, and it's also really good to blend out any pigments that are a little tough. I just purchased this one about 2 days ago. So I really enjoyed it so far for this first look, and that's exactly why I wanted to do another look to get a start on all my new brushes that I've got. And then I go ahead and grab the Morphe E23, and like I said, this is my second brush. This is my go-to blending for any type of blending, whether it's a dark color, light color. It's really good. So just go ahead and blend that throughout really well. And then I go in, continue to blend, and then I grab some more product to deepen up the outer eyelid. So I do like to, well, for this look I did do the outer part of my eye a little darker than the inner part of my eye, but I did bring it into the lid because I did want a little bit of dark on the inner corner of my eye by my tear duct. So then I just go ahead and blend. Blending is the #1 key in eyeshadow, which is something I'm still learning to deal with, learning all the new brushes. No one's a pro at it when they just get started. So then I go ahead and pick up, just like I'm deciding, I go ahead and pick up another brown shade. It's a little bit darker, obviously, than the first one. And I go ahead and apply that right on the outer part of my lid to deepen up that outer crease of my eye. And then I do get a different brush, which this one came with the eyebrow, not the eyebrow, the eyeshadow kit as well from Morphe. I think they just came out with it recently because they didn't have it before. And I just applied that darker color on the inner part of my eye as well. And then I went ahead and picked up my brush that I just used to blend out that part of my eye. And I just reapplied all the way until I got, like I kept going back and forth until I got the color I desired. So now I go ahead and pick up the Morphe M511 brush. And that one is the brush I'm using right now. I go ahead and just blend that out. Pick up the Morphe M511 brush, and this is a really just fluffy, light brush that I go ahead and blend out my entire lid with before I start to add anything else. And then this brush, I didn't have a name for it because it's not labeled. It was one of my first brush kits that I got from a friend. So it's just a flat brush. It's really, I used it to pick up a darker color in the palette to just deepen out the outer part and the inner part of my eye, and then right in the crease of my lid. I didn't want the look to be too dark. I just wanted it to be a nice bronzy look. I'm just using all the colors from the palette. And then again, I go back and I blend out my eye. And then there's my sister showing me a dog treat. We got my dog. And so I just go back in and I blend that color out one more time. Like I said, a lot of back and forth between going from one brush to another, just making sure that you blend it right. And I go ahead and pick up the shade next to the first shade that I picked up to put over on the outer part of my lid, just to kind of blend it in so it's not so harsh, to give it a lighter effect. Because I'm also going to have the crease a darker color like I showed you guys. And back to the fluffy brush to blend it all in again. And then I picked up my Morphe M210 brush, and this one of the guys at the Morphe store actually recommended to me. He said it was a great lid packer, and so far it is. I went ahead and I picked up the glitter and I applied it right on my lid. Originally I was just going to do this glitter look, but then, this little shimmer, then I decided to add glitter on top of the lid. So that comes up in a little bit, but that one so far was a really good, I would recommend as a full lid applicator. And then I went ahead and just grabbed my first blending brush that I talked about and went right back in and blended it out just to make sure there was no harsh lines. And then I picked up my violet Voss glue that I purchased at a Simply Glam store. And I'm going to actually apply some brown glitter that I wanted to try for the first time. I've tried other colors, but for sure this one was a one-time thing. And then again, this brush that I'm using to pack it on with came with the Morphe set, so it didn't have a name on it. It just says Morphe on them. So I go ahead and pack on that glitter right onto my eyelid. I make sure I get it around. I didn't want too harsh of a glitter, but I think I just chose the wrong brush to apply it with, so I was already in the middle of my look to do it, so I just continued on with it. So I go ahead and apply that glitter on, and then I didn't really like the way it looked, so I grabbed that brush that I dipped in with the dark brown and put it right on top of it because I just didn't like it, and I ended up putting just another shimmer on top of it. So then I go ahead and went in with my Violet Voss lashes. These are just slayin. I put Alley for limited edition. That's what it says in the box. These are my favorite, and they're my go-to lashes. I do recommend these. Again, I purchased these at a Simply Glam store. I think they were like $10 to $12. I'm not sure if they still have them. Like I said, they are limited edition, but they are super, super pretty. And then again, I go ahead and just make sure I pretty much just review my eyeshadow, check it out, see how it looks with the eyelashes on, see if it all looks even, get a blending brush and just blend it all out again. And then now I'm going to go into my face. So I have really dry skin, and my skin is also super sensitive. That's why you could see red spots. I just picked up an epidermic lotion to hydrate it. And then I put this Post Shave Balm by Nivea, and I really do like it. It does get it does dry fast, but I do recommend it to use it as a primer. And then I do have a Milani foundation, one of the few that I have. I apply it all around my face with the brush. A lot of people don't like to use a brush, they just go straight into the beauty blender, but sometimes I like to use a brush just to make sure I get a good layer on my entire face. And then after I use a brush to just make sure I get all the corners of my nose and to kind of make a defined line for my eyeshadow, I pick up a beauty blender. So when I use a beauty blender, of course, we all know we just go ahead and pat that around our face to blend any harsh lines out, to make sure everything looks smooth and even. And then after that, I do end up putting a little bit on the foundation. I just didn't show that part. More foundation on the beauty blender to apply in light spots that didn't get fully covered. And then I go ahead and pick up this Rimmel, just random concealer that I had got. It's in shade 230. I think it's light fair. And then I also, just to highlight my focal areas that I want to be brightened up with the eyeshadow to show my eyes a little more, to make them pop. And then I get my beauty blender again, and I just damp it out, pat it out, make sure everything's blended in nice and smooth. And then I do have a naked concealer as well. That one's in the shade light. I do apply some just to make sure it is a highlighted area versus just to conceal my under eyes. But I do like my eyes to brighten up a little bit, and this concealer is really, really thick, so it covers up a lot. And then I go ahead and I have an Airspun translucent powder that I use. It's from Walmart, like $6. So far it's worked really, really, really well for me. I pack it on under my eyes, and then also with the remainder of excess on the sponge, with the Real Technique Beauty Blender, I do apply it all over my face. That was a trick I started doing just because I realized that sometimes my face looked a little too oily. So this actually can help you with not being so oily, just overall setting your entire face. Just not a lot, just damp it around, just whatever's on there. You can pick up a little bit more in case you're a little low and you don't have a lot on it, but I would recommend just patting it on a good amount of layer. And then I go in using my e.l.f. Spiffled brush to apply my Pro Concealer. I do have it in the shade Almond and one other shade color. And I go ahead and I apply that on. I do have a lighter one. Oh, it's called Expresso. A lighter one and a darker one. I was going to use my beauty blender, but decided not to. I use just this e.l.f. brush. I started using it when I first started doing my makeup. And it's just really good to blend out that whole cheekbone, carve it out, make sure it's not too harsh or too creamy. And then I go ahead and sometimes bring it up not close to my eyebrow, but up in that area, just to make sure I just don't have a bunch of brown, on the whole side of my face. And then I go in after this with using the Kat Von D palette, shade and light, and I just get the first two colors. If you use too much of this, it could come out a little harsh, so I always try to make sure I hit my brush to dust off the excess powder that's picked up. And I just go ahead and carve out my cheekbones, and I do that to both sides, obviously, and then just kind of blend it out a little bit more. And then I pick up just a blending brush from e.l.f. that I had that I really think helps with blending out my bronzer. And then with my Morphe M523 brush, I go ahead and apply some type of bronzer from Wet&Wild. It has a little bit of pink in it. I don't really like blush, so I'll go ahead and use that. And then picking up my Real Technique Beauty Blender again, I just go in and make sure I damp all of that in, so I can also dust off the excess amount of powder after. And I go in using one of my Morphe brushes for that as well. And if I find the name for it, the number, I'll go ahead and list it as well. So I go ahead and just dust it off, carve my cheek right there, make sure no bronzer got a little bit lower than it's supposed to. Then I grab my Sephora brush. It's number 50. And I go ahead and use my Sephora powder. I think it's in like sand, beige, or something like that. I'll go ahead and check as well for you guys. But I just go ahead and apply that, and I also go over my bronzer just to make sure that's blended out and not too harsh. I got a little trial Tarte blush, so I did apply just a little bit on my cheeks. Not too much. I picked up really, really light, light amount. I didn't pick a lot up at all. So then I go ahead and blend that out one more time just to make sure there's no harsh lines. And then I picked up this golden highlighter. When I first started doing makeup once again, I use it as a base for my Colourpop because those are gels and it really helps it hold. But also just by itself, it could really, really pop. And then I did get an Anastasia So Hollywood glow. Highlighter, and so I did apply that with my Morphe brush. I literally got it the day I used it, so I didn't apply too much of it because I didn't want to ruin it. So I'll do another video using that product. And then after I apply that, I do pick up, I just showed Victor, the Anastasia So Hollywood. I do pick up the remainder of the brush, whatever's on it, and then I pick up the Colourpop, and I believe it's Smoke and Whistles, and it's one of my favorite highlighters so far. Since they are press-ons, this one is actually really, really, really sparkly, and it's totally different than the other highlighters that I have, so I do recommend this one as well. If you haven't tried it, try them out. And then I grab my brush again just to make sure like I blend out my highlight. It's not too harsh of a line on the top of my cheek. And then I'll go ahead just back and forth just like I do on my eyeshadows just to make sure they're all blended. And then I didn't finish my eyebrows in the beginning just because I like to wait till the end sometimes. So I just went ahead and picked up my my NYX pencil and filled them in a little bit more in the front. And then I picked up my spool on the other side of what I use for my dip brow. And I brushed out my eyebrows to make sure they're not so harsh. And then I picked up the same colors that I used on my eyelid from the Morphe palette to kind of go under my eye for the bottom shadow. And then this is my go-to mascara. I've used it for years. It's the Cheetah one. It's by Maybelline, I believe. It's really good to use the precise endpoint to stick in your hairs into the falsies. So I do recommend this one as well. And then lastly, I go in with my clear gel. And then this is the final look that I got right here. So it is a bronze, kind of with the copper in it again. I didn't use eyeliner this time, so I did just apply falsies. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much. Continue to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks.